Good morning. My name is Maria Skoulides. This is my mom, Sophia Skoulides. She is a patient of Dr. Acha's, and we would just like a couple of minutes to tell you her success story. When my mom was 12, she was in a pretty bad accident, fell off of a motorcycle, and lost her front teeth, the top. They put a bridge in, so the top 6 were never really hers, and she had a bridge in for about 40 years, right? 40 years. It started to wear down. Obviously, with wear and tear, we needed to find different options. So I started researching different dentists that can put implants in my mom's mouth and then mount a nice looking set of teeth, at least real looking. So when I Googled it, I found names like Eon Clinic and Clear Choice, and they seemed to be the best option for us from what I read. So we went into Eon Clinics, and they gave us an idea of what they wanted to do to her. They quoted us thousands and thousands of dollars. And the first step was to do a bone grafting for my mom. I didn't know what that was at that time, but they explained to me that they would remove part of her jaw and put it in the top and hope that she would be able to grow enough bone in her top gum to put in the implants. When she did that, it took her about 6 or 7 weeks for the swelling to go down. Her mouth was swollen down to here. The pain was unbearable. She wasn't eating. She was very unhappy, emotionally and physically in distress. We went back to Eon Clinic when the time came, and they told us that the scan showed the bone graft never even caught. So she had no bone density up top still, although she went through all of that. Their recommendation was doing it again. My brother and I decided that that was not going to be an option. They made some teeth for my mom to have on top because they had removed her other teeth that were painful, uncomfortable. She had to live with that for almost a year until I found someone else that I thought was a good choice for my mom. So this was in 2011. Now fast forward to 2012, we found another doctor, Dr. Russ Spinazzi, and I brought her into his office, and he said that he wanted to put in a type of material that would help her grow bone density again. Although the scans were showing very, very like little milliliters of bone, they were still adamant about her undergoing surgeries again, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that it would help her bone grow. He puts in this material. My mother suffers again severely. For months, she's not eating, she's swollen, she's uncomfortable. We go back to him for him to give us the same news again. Not enough bone density. At this point, my mother is emotionally in a horrible place, feels very ugly, she's very unhappy, in a lot of pain. She's not eating. The list goes on and on and on. I decided to give it another shot. So we found Clear Choice online, and we went to the doctor there, Dr. Chin, and he said to us that he would like to remove parts of her senses, like up here where her nose is, and double it, and then remove all her teeth for 6 months. She would have no teeth on the top. He couldn't put a denture or anything until he saw if that worked or not, put in traditional implants. Anyway, the same story. We decided not to have that surgery, considering that she was on year almost 3 of suffering with barely no teeth on top. So I sent her medical records to the Mayo Clinic, and I was hoping that they would take her on as a patient. However, they called me and they said that there are a few places in Chicago that do Zygomatic implants. That was the magic word that I should have heard 3 years ago. However, nobody told me what Zygomatic implants were. I started Googling frantically, and I found Dr. Acha, teeth, no dentures, right? So again, I was skeptical. I thought that we would come into his office and we'd hear the same story, because my entire family was very much traumatized by all this, and watching your mother suffer for 4 years almost was really unbearable. So I decided to bring her in for an appointment, and the best part was that we didn't meet with a secretary, we didn't meet with a nurse, we met with Dr. Acha himself, and that was very empowering for a patient who's been suffering since 12 years old with her teeth and had all these traumatic experiences. We sat down with him, and he was extremely hopeful. He showed us other videos of people with my mom's case. He was very confident, and he simply said, bone grafting is not an option. Anyone should have known that this was not an option for you. So he said, the only option you have are Zygomatic implants. He took probably 2 hours in our first visit to explain everything to us, to make sure my mother was comfortable. His lovely wife was there also, helping us through the process. And although his promises seemed that they were not going to become a reality because we had been hurt so many times, I put my faith in him. And it was the smoothest, most loving relationship my mother has ever had. He was caring, understanding. She went through another surgery that again was very traumatic for her initially, only to wake up from it fine, like almost nothing, no swelling. She was like moving around, she was eating. He put in temporary teeth that looked so real. I almost didn't want her to switch because I was scared that the real set wouldn't look like this. This is definitely a place that sees you like family. And as Dr. Acha said, I would not do a surgery for your mother that I wouldn't do on my own mother. And I can honestly say that today, my mother, I get emotional. She got her real teeth in now, and she looks great, and she's happy.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
And yeah, we owe so much to Dr. Acha because it is a family. We're a very close family, and everyone suffers when one person suffers. And he understood that. He understood my mother being a little fussy. He understood her being a little picky. He was always gentle and kind, and his staff is remarkable. And again, his wife is wonderful. And my mom has become so close with them. She brought them Christmas cookies, and we've become a family now. And he's given her a second chance to living a happy, normal, and healthy life. And all I can say is thank you. There's really no way to repay what he's done for me and my family. So thank you very much to Dr. Acha and his clinic.